All right, hey everybody, welcome. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I am a psychologist in my day job, but I help people navigate through their spiritual awakening, and all of life is a spiritual awakening. And so I'm gonna go over here to my favorite tree, well, one of them. There's the sun. It's not really bright today, but look at these cool leaves. They look like they're in a heart shape. All right. So I often, say get in touch with nature first, just because it helps you slow down your mind so you're not caught up in all of these pressing thoughts that say you have to be doing this or operating this way, right? I'm going to sit up on this because it's been raining. Okay, so I was contemplating for us, right? How we're all connected and how the divine love, which is God, right? So I sort of combined science and spirituality and spiritual paths and what I understand, I have my faith, but I welcome all people. There's a verse that says, God rewards all of those who diligently seek him. And so that was coming to my heart, right? Here's my heart. Here's my heart. Is why would God, deceive and push away people who are diligently seeking him? And the other thing that was coming with that is this understanding that that we're all connected. We are all in a matrix together. I often would do in my videos, I'd go like, look, we look like we're own separate people, but really we're all connected, and so that's just an easy example for you to remember when you look at your hand. Now remember that we're all connected. So your actions affect every other person on this planet. It is like the butterfly effect, it's no pressure, right? But there is accountability and there's responsibility with that. And so the good news is that every bit of inner work that you do brings healing to this whole world. It really does. And so people are like, why would you leave your family to go to a 4-day silent retreat, let's say, because I just did that. And it's because I've only done that one other major time in my life. And why would a soldier go to boot camp for 30 days or whatever and train in the swamps? I know someone that was just doing that. It's like makes him or her a better soldier the rest of their lives, right? What you bring back to, it's the same principle, right? When I used to be doing my meditation when I was in line to pick up my kids at school. And my friends would text me, and it was so tempting to just stop my meditation and text them back. And my spiritual director, I have a spiritual director, she said, finally, one time I was telling her about this, right? And she said, your friends are going to be better served if you don't text them back and you stay concentrated in your meditation. You'll bring a more quality self to them the rest of your life than answering their text in the immediate. She could see that this is an immediate thing calling us. And this is a microcosm for what I'm talking about in the world. There's always these things that are calling us that we think we need to attend to. But what's the bigger thing? And what are we giving our attention to? Now, the thing that was coming to mind about how we're all connected is that biologically, there's this thing that I learned when you have a new baby, right? One of my friends, her baby's sick right now, and so it just came to my mind the other day, probably because I was praying for her or something, that they taught me when I was, I don't know, in some kind of school for like training for how to change your baby's diaper or something, because they don't tell you all these things before you have one. I mean, they do if you take the classes. So anyway, they were saying they know now with science that if you take the baby and put the baby right here, skin to skin, your baby's skin on your skin, what they found is that your body starts creating the antibodies that your baby needs, and then it comes through the breast milk to the baby, And so it's just like God was showing me when I was quiet and meditating. Now understand, look, see all those leaves? And this big leaf right here? Understand that when you meditate, it's like, here's the sun, right, shining. And if you had a magnifying glass, you could set afire a leaf, right? And create a fire for your whole family to cook food and stuff like this. If we were back in the days when some people still need the fires, for cooking and stuff. And so this is what happens when you meditate and you concentrate. This is what all these videos are about. You're like, what are we doing in these videos? We're taking some time out and you're concentrating your focus. You're using a magnifying glass. And what that does is you have certain, give us this day our daily bread. You have certain units of energy, let's say, and spiritual capacity. And so when you focus in on these ideas, you grow in them in a concentrated way, just like I ought not to be dissipating that by texting my friends and instead be present, or running after, things or whatever it is. Anyway, but what I was going to say is what I was noticing, what God was showing me with the nursing thing is that, it's important. If you go to a church or wherever, or let's say you go to school, God is watching over you. God will equip your teachers and your pastors or priests or whatever with what they need, especially if they're committed to surrendering everything to God, but even not so, I think God will give them graces. This is what I've been noticing, because God is giving me graces to bring healing to you and to bring healing to my clients. God will give you and give them, equip them with what they need to take care of you. So look at how you are a blessing going to that place, going to that church, going to that school, because your presence brings forth, it's like it brings forth in the mom, the antibodies that baby needs to get better. And so what I was studying that I wanted to share with you guys about how we're all connected and how your actions affect everybody is I'm taking this class because I have to do my continuing education, and I was like, oh, do I have to do these classes? But then I decided again, like always when we do this, to surrender whatever you're doing up to God, up to divine love. When you're lost in your purpose, then it brings this joy back, because you connect, you align again. I wear this cross and I teach from it lots of different things, take up your cross daily, but you go back to this oneness and you're aligning with God, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, and this is our horizontal relationship with other people, but you're aligning back with, oh, this is my God purpose, if divine love created us out of love, and we're meant here to love, and through science or through through fishing, through whatever we're doing here on this earth, the divine love can flow through it and heal other people and give them love and insight and care through it, right? Even if I was a plumber, it really helps when the plumbing works at my house, and it helps me understand this plumbing, the plumbing of the flow of divine love through me out to other people, Okay, and so I was studying this book on mindfulness, and they had me look up, they didn't have me look up. They were talking about how mindfulness comes from Buddhism. And I always had this love for Buddha because I had heard from a Christian mystic that Buddha, not just because of this, because he's all Zen and fat, and I love it. He's fat with blessings. That's what he's meant to be fat with. And remember, God rewards those who diligently seek him. So I'm not planning to teach you anything weird or occult, because I don't want to be doing that. All I want to be showing, so this Christian mystic healer was saying that the Buddha, there's writings showing that the Buddha predicted when the Christ was going to come. And so he came before Christ, and he was diligently seeking God, just like Plato was, and like Da Vinci was. And all of these people are flawed, but I don't remember, 14 years the Buddha was trying to be all ascetic and you know, disciplined and understanding who God was. And then finally he got the revelation after he sort of let go of trying his own way. But there's, oh, that's what I was going to call this video, the noble path. The noble path. I had forgotten because it just came to me before. Because he talks about the noble eightfold path, right? And I wonder if the gardeners are going to come over here and start blowing. I hope they're not waiting for me. And so I'll show you what I wrote down, right? Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully I don't have anything personal. You know, personal notes on the side on my test. I might, but okay. And so so that we can understand, because when I was praying this morning, I got the sense that Christ embodied this noble eightfold path. He already embodied it. And so why wouldn't we ask Christ in our heart? It's like, you know, Christ, let me embody what the Buddha was embodying, is this eightfold noble path, but let me embody it with the fullness of God, with the fullness of what God intended for this, right? And because all truth is God's truth, right? So you discern if this is true, right? And he said, the right view is like the middle. And Jesus says this too. He says, follow me, guard my commandments. And the word commandment in Greek is entele. So it's in telos. And telos is this direction, the straight direction, as if God is like the sun, right? This straight direction towards divine love, walk in my telos, guard my telos, this like telephone, telescope. It's this aim, stay in my true aim, right? And so how is that different? I ask you, write in the comments if you want to I don't want to be religious, you know, debating and stuff. I'm just saying, look, so Buddha, when he was concentrating his mind towards God, towards wanting to be close with God, he got the right view is the middle. And so, you know, if Jesus is showing love as I have loved you, then that's our right view, right? And so out of that, there's these 7 other actions that come out of the right view. And so there's right action, which is work for the good of others, work for the good of all, right? Right speech, say nothing that hurts others. Now, of course, we need to confront others and stuff like that. And that might hurt their feelings, but that's different than like saying something to put them down or to pull them down because we want to feel temporarily better in the moment because we're listening to egotism, which says we're not enough. Okay, so right action, right speech. So right view in the middle, I wrote next to it, know the truth, because I looked this up more than the book. So right action, right speech, right thought or intention, right? Free your mind of evil intentions, right? Right livelihood, earning one's living in a way that's benevolent and causes no harm to self and others. I was just thinking last night, I was like, wow, if people just had the right livelihood, I tweeted this actually, if people just had the right livelihood, then we wouldn't have pornography or trafficking or anything like that. So many people in this world would be protected, you know, and our actions contribute to that. And I don't mean to put anybody down. Just start considering gently, but truly, that your actions matter. And when you restrain in certain areas, you help bring love and protection to children and to people who are being used for money, you know, because you're contributing to that, whether you're paying for that or not. You're contributing to the industry because the industry gets paid by you visiting those. And so look at what is the core, you know. G.K. Chesterton said every man in a brothel is looking for God. And so, you know, I encourage you, whether you're a man or a woman, and whatever way you're doing this as a woman, you know, looking for shortcuts, taking an easy way out, just thinking you have to do something in order to have a man in your life. No, you know, you can find this noble path. I encourage you to look at the core of that and look at the core wound that's coming from, and look at a higher, ask God just sincerely, hey, if there's a higher way for me to get this need, this perceived need met, show me that and help me walk on that noble path. Because we're all made for a noble path, right? I'm like, see how So how God gives me the ability to say these things to you, even though they're a trigger for me from my own childhood in ways that I wasn't protected, to say these things to you gently, but truly, you know, so that you can be aware, and awareness changes everything. You know, you're worth the noble path. Each of us are, and it affects everybody. And so right livelihood, what is your livelihood? What are you doing? You know, maybe God put a certain gift in you that you're meant to be giving out into this world that you're hiding right now. You're squishing because you're just numbing yourself, and you're running, and you keep going back to toxic situations, and then it just keeps you down, and you can't see, you can't look up. You haven't been looking up, you know, looking up, looking at the sun, you know, the light beyond the sun, to see your higher purpose here, because you've been kept oppressed. Hi. And so right effort means to resist evil. Right mindfulness means to, you know, it says control your thoughts. You can't control them, but you can learn how to start directing them. How to start disinvesting your energy from them, not identifying with them, right? And then right concentration, which is about practicing meditation. So that's the 8 noble path that the Buddha came to in his search for divine love, for God. And I really, really think that Christ embodied this. He said, you know, the peace that I give you is not of this world. It's a peace that passes understanding. When you rest in that peace and that goodness of God, then you start having more ability to detach from these things of the world that call us so much, you know, that ask for our attention, you know. Oh, look, it's just like what they're doing. You start raking up the leaves in your life so they're not all scattered all around, you know. Thank you. And it's like you cleaning up your life. If I didn't, you know, out of pain, I had to, because I kept going. Why do I keep going back to these horrible patterns, you know? Why do I keep creating suffering? The Buddha was talking about is something later in this, and I gotta wrap this up. So he was saying about how true loving kindness is about directing toward all sentient beings, the wish for all sentient beings to have happiness and its causes, you guys, not just temporary happiness. The world teaches us, and our flesh teaches us, to go for the temporary happiness. Just go for Mr. Right now, not for Mr. Right, you know. Go for this temporary fix. Go for focusing on all your problems instead of focusing on you know, my son texted me something yesterday, and I just started crying about it. And then I looked up and I saw there was this beautiful sunset happening. And I was just like, wow, I got so pulled in to words from a text and what that conveyed. Something of mine was lost, but it was tapping into other losses in my childhood, right? And that I'm facing right now. And it's like, instead of looking up, I could look up and just see that sun, see the sunset. It was the most beautiful sunset. And so you choose how to have the right view, right? And how to learn what that is, how to learn how to have this deep love for all people and compassion for yourself by not giving in to these temporary wants and these temporary highs. You're worth something more. And so I encourage you, so that this video gets out to other people, to like and subscribe and comment your favorite quote, or comment something that you've learned and in your life or from this video, and share this with other people, and be encouraging towards me, towards all people, you know, not because I need it, because it's good for you as well. All right, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for all the new subscribers. I welcome you. Like, because you come here, these gifts come that I can take care of you, and I honor that. Much love always.